Hello and welcome back to the Consistory of the Coelc YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. Welcome back to our mini-series Ask the Consistory, and today I'm addressing the question of the priesthood of all believers. Since all Christians are priests, does this mean that every Christian is a minister and free to serve in the church in word and sacrament, even without a call? Well, the answer is no. And let us look at this false doctrine of the everyone is a minister. See, the everyone is a minister belief comes from the idea that since all Christians are priests, see 1 Peter 2:9, Revelation 1:6, and Revelation 5:10, that therefore all people are essentially ministers of word and sacrament. But C.W.F. Walther, in his Theses of the Ministry, in his very first thesis, rejects this view. He says that the holy ministry or pastoral office is an office distinct from the priesthood of all believers. He then goes on to cite his scriptural evidence. He says, although the Holy Scriptures attest that all believing Christians are priests, 1 Peter 2:9, Revelation 1:6, and Revelation 5:10, at the same time teaches very expressly that in the church there is an office to teach, feed, and rule, with Christians by virtue of their general calling as Christians do not possess. For it is written, are all apostles, are all prophets, are all teachers, 1 Corinthians 12:29, and again, how shall they preach unless they are sent? Romans 10:15, or my brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment, James 3:1. I think you could also add in there Hebrews 5:4 that no one should take this honor upon himself unless he is called by God. So, it is pastors who are called as stewards of the mysteries of God and ambassadors of Christ who are to work in word and sacrament. So what then is the role of the laity as members of the priesthood of all believers? If all Christians are priests, what is it that the priests do? Well, I have two quotes here from the early Lutheran fathers Martin Chemnitz and Johann Gerhard. Chemnitz states that all Christians are indeed priests, 1 Peter 2:9, Revelation 1:6, because they offer spiritual sacrifices to God. Everyone can and should teach the word of God in their home, see Deuteronomy 6:7, 1 Corinthians 14:26. But not every Christian may take on and aggregate to himself the public ministry of the word and the sacraments. For not all are the apostles, not all are teachers, 1 Corinthians 12:29, but only those who by special and legitimate call have been set apart for the ministry, Acts 13:2-3, Jeremiah 23:4, and Romans 10:15. This is done either immediately by the congregation or immediately by God. So as Chemnitz says there, as priests, the Christians are to offer spiritual sacrifices to God, and they can teach and preach in their own home. Gerhard also goes even further, saying that the believers are called spiritual priests, not in view of the ministry of the church, but in view of the spiritual sacrifices that they are to offer to God, as Peter himself explains this, 1 Peter 5:2, and also in view of prayers, Psalm 141 verse 1, Revelation 5:8, and Revelation 8:4, in thanksgiving, Hebrews 13:15, in beneficence towards the poor, Philippians 4:18, Hebrews 13:16, the crucifixion of the old Adam, Romans 12:1, and martyrdom that they endure for Christ's sake, Philippians 2:17, 2 Timothy 4:6. Such sacrifices can be offered by all believers as spiritual priests. Thus, Gerhard says, as members of the priesthood of all believers, we are to offer up spiritual sacrifices to God. Those spiritual sacrifices are prayer, thanksgiving, care towards the poor, the crucifixion of the old Adam, and martyrdom. Essentially, we are to offer up the sacrifice of a holy Christian life and to offer up the sacrifice of prayers. So, no, Being a member of the Priesthood of All Believers does not make you a minister, and it does not give you the right to exercise the office of word and sacrament. The duties of the Priesthood of All Believers is to offer up a living sacrifice and sacrifices of prayer and thanksgiving. I've been your host, Reverend Jack Zabel. Goodbye, and God bless.